Hartford. Welcome back to coverage here at GP Hartford. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe. I'm in the booth with Melissa DeTora, and it is our pleasure to bring you coverage of the quarterfinals here as we see Matt Grahn playing Elves, a deck that his opponent, Matt Nass, knows a lot about, having played Elves quite a bit in his life. Playing Ironworks combo, though, is Matt Nass, and it looks like they are all ready to go with the higher seed. Matt Grahn is the one who's going to go first, and we are underway. Elvish Mystic for Matt Grahn. How do you see this matchup from a big picture perspective, Melissa?
So neither of these decks really interact. So I feel like, given that Matt Nass is favored because his combo is faster and more consistent, he also has the interaction spell main deck, which is the Pyrite Spellbomb. So if he can Pyrite Spellbomb an Elvish Archdruid or something on the right turn, then that'll just slow Matt down. Oh, they're both Matt. Slow the Elves player down a lot to a point where the other Matt can just win with his combo. From Matt Grahn's perspective, he has the perfect start here. Like, he has his turn 1 and turn 2 Elves, but what he's trying to do is get that Elvish Archdruid into play, generate a lot of mana, and then win with Azurian Overrun faster than Matt Nass can win. So it'll be interesting to see who can actually come out of the gates faster here. Looks like Matt Nass does have a Pyrite Spellbomb, so that's going to be really important. And he also doesn't care if he uses it early because he's just going to get that thing back anyway. Yeah,
the interesting thing as well, you mentioned the relative lack of interaction, but Matt Nass actually does have kind of a hammer that he can bring down in this matchup in 3 engineered explosives in the main deck. And take a look at that. I mean, it would kill 2 creatures right now.
Yeah, actually, that's a really good point. Engineered explosives is in his deck, and that is his form of interaction here. And it's actually great against an elf deck that plays tons of 1-drops.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that he may be able to find to help buy him enough time to combo off, though. We have actually seen Matt Nass, I think he comboed off on turn 2 earlier.
Wow.
Yeah. And
really?
His opponent asked him, how often does this happen? And Matt says, well, I've played 2 GPs with the deck, and this is the first time. So.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. I guess if you have a draw of turn, it has to involve Mox Opal for sure. And then, turn 2, you tap your Opal, then play a backup Opal, and then play the KCI, and then maybe you can just go off from there. But wow, that's pretty impressive. All right, well, Ancient Stirrings from Matt gives him a really good shot to find his engineered explosives, or if he's ready to combo off, to find one of his combo pieces.
It's on Matt Grahn right now, and he's deciding what he wants to play. He went with a 2-drop that, honestly, can't quite see. There it is, an Elvish Mystic.
Yeah, he's just playing a ton of 1-drops here.
Boy, if Matt Nass can find that engineered explosives, if he did, or if he had it in his hand already, this could be a devastating turn for him.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm not even sure if Matt Grahn can come back from that, given he has 2 cards in his hand.
Just kill 4 creatures.
And 4 mana creatures.
Yeah, 4 important ones.
Which means even if he draws his big card draw spell like Lead the Stampede, he won't even have enough time to recast all of the creatures.
The other interactive piece that Matt Nass has is that Pyrite Spellbomb, which he actually does have in his hand here, though Matt Grahn looking pretty redundant as far as creatures go on his side.
All right, 1 mana, we have a Terrarian. Okay. Mm-hmm. And this maybe is a Mind Stone, a Mirror Retriever.
So when that guy dies, he gets to dig up an artifact from his graveyard, put it in his hand.
Yep. This is one of the ways he combos off that and Scrap Trawler.
Got to be a big benefit, Melissa, for Matt Nass to have a deep understanding of how the Elves deck works, when it can go off, what pieces it needs, that kind of thing.
Oh, right, because Matt played decks like this before, so.
Yeah, extensively.
That probably just gives him an edge.
Right.
There's Dwynen's Elite, otherwise known as Grizzly Bears, with a friend. I wasn't at Wizards during the time that Magic Origins was in development, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was called Elf with Friend or something.
We got to see Sad Elf with Friend earlier today, you and
Yeah,
I.
he was actually Elf without Friend.
Yeah.
So he was like really sad.
Really sad. But that is a rarity.
One card that looks really nice here is Pendelhaven. Oh. Yeah, the Dwina's Leak cannot attack.
Right. Matt Nass reminding Matt Grahn, hey, you just cast that one, buddy.
Maybe Matt Grahn heard us earlier about just turn everything sideways, but he just got
the two hands to the right, no math. Yeah.
So he jumped the gun a little bit there.
He did. But Nass was at the ready. And Matt has taken a big hit of damage down to 4, so he is in a position where he has 4 mana, and does he have the Ironworks? He does. Yep. He needs to go off this turn. There's Terrarion.
All right, so wow, okay. So he sacks Terrarion for 2.
Yes.
So he's really looking for scrap trawler here.
Oh yeah. There it is, Melissa.
Yep, there it is. So if he sacks Mirror Retriever, he can get 2 things back.
That's right. 1 cheaper than Mirror Retriever. That's the Scrap Trawler trigger. And then Mirror Retriever itself can just get whatever. Oh, boy.
2 Chromatic Stars.
Is Matt Nass going to be able to go off this turn? He certainly has to. Chat's calling it. They say GG.
It might be GG.
Yeah.
Another Mirror Retriever, which can get back another 1-drop.
Yeah, but I think this is now the combo.
Oh, yeah, sure. Mirror Retriever gets back Mirror Retriever and a 1-drop.
Exactly.
Thanks to the
And then he can do this again repeatedly, generating mana and a card each time from Chromatic Star.
Right.
Which will allow him to see his entire deck. So we'll probably see Matt just explain that, they call that demonstrating a loop.
Right.
And then just say, okay, I'm just going to start drawing a bunch of cards.
Yep, and it looks like Matt Grahn has had enough.
Yeah, and I think Matt just verbally explained what he was going to do, and Matt Grahn said, makes sense to me. He's pretty animated as Matt. I had a chance to meet him yesterday. He told me, I'll be back tomorrow. And he just came over before the top 8 announcement and said, I came back. I said, yeah, you did, buddy. Nice work.
Yeah, we actually covered one of his matches yesterday, and he lost. But that was his only time he lost.
Indeed. We did that to a few people, actually, Melissa. You and I.
Oh, that's probably good for them, right?
Yeah, maybe so. So we're going to hit up the sideboards. Let's take a look at what Matt Grahn is working with in the board. I see a pair of Abrupt Decay's Duress, a couple of Elvish Champions, a couple of Fracturing Gust. Got my eye on that one. Maelstrom Pulse, 2 Reclamation Sage. Goodness sakes. A pair of Relics. Those actually might come in too. Spellskite and 2 Thoughtseize. So what are the key cards here?
So as we saw in that game, once the KCI hit the table, the game was over that turn. Which means cards like Reclamation Sage are not very effective.
I see.
So I would expect Thoughtseize, Duress, and Relic of Progenitus to come in because really, like, the graveyard is how you win. So the Relic of Progenitus is really important. I would be surprised if Fracturing Gust came in. I don't think it matters because I think, like, you're just winning the turn you play the KCI anyway.
Well, what if you don't?
Right.
What if Matt is missing 1 combo piece and has the KCI that gives him the flexibility and the mana, but can't actually kill him that turn? Then do those cards seem more appealing?
Maybe. Like, it's pretty tricky. They have the list here. So the KCI is at risk because of Thoughtseize and Duress. So it might be better in play. But then there's Reclamation Sage and Fracturing Gust. So it's kind of tricky. It's like trying to figure out what is my opponent going to side in. Is he going to side in more hand disruption spells, or is he going to side in the enchantment removal? Artifact removal.
And the other thing to consider here, of course, is that now instead of looking down at the sideboard, look up at the deck list. Remember, this is an all-in tribal deck. Like, you can't just tear this apart, right?
Right. Yeah. You need a high density of elves to even make your deck work. So you can't really side in all these cards that I mentioned. Like, you can probably side in 4. Like maybe
Shaving
5. Like you'd probably cut the Lead the Stampedes because if you're siding out more creatures, then you're going to have less creatures to hit off of Lead the Stampede.
That makes sense. It's also a bit of a slow card.
Right. Shaman of the Pack is I mean, you can't really side that out either. Like, that's one of your win conditions.
Right.
I don't think you can side a win condition, so maybe you're siding out some Dwinen's Elite because they're the least impactful card here. Like, the mana creatures are super important. Elvish Visionary helps you draw into stuff. Nettle Sentinel and Heritage Druid are part of your mana combo. So yeah, I guess Dwinen's Elite would be the least impactful card.
What about for Matt Nass and his Ironworks combo deck? I see a pair of defense grids, some Galvanic Blasts, a couple of Gear per Ether grids, Guttural Response Nature's Claims, and 2 Worm Coils.
All right, so Gear per Ether grid gives Matt a chance to win if his graveyard is gone, and it also pings down elves. So maybe that.
Okay.
But then again, if Reclamation Sage is coming in, it's not so good. So it's just a question of what is my opponent doing. Galvanic Blast is a pretty good interactive spell that comes in as well.
Whoa, looks like they're underway here already.
And it looks like Grizzly Bear with Friend remained in the deck. So
and brought Friend.
it did bring a friend, and also I was incorrect about what card that Matt Grahn wanted to side out.
Well, you were correct about one of the cards he wanted to side in, because there's that Relicus Progenitus.
Oh, yeah.
Predicted.
Yeah, this is the most important card here.
So Matt already facing down pretty significant board here. Matt Grahn has compiled 4 power and a disruptive element, and this could, wow, this is a nice turn here for Matt Nass as well, though.
Yeah, this is nice. This is a great start for Matt Nass.
Yeah, he's already got 5 permanents on the battlefield. That Ichor Wellspring's going to draw him a card. He passes the turn back to Matt Grahn.
I see a Reclamation Sage in the hand.
Matt Grahn must have just said, look, you're playing a bunch of artifacts. I'm going to bring in the stuff that I have that kills artifacts, because I liked your point a lot, Melissa, about the fact that being sorcery speed and a little too reactionary might make it too slow.
Right.
But Matt Grahn just said, I want to hit all of it. And he's going to get some value here. He's going to kill a Mind Stone.
Yeah, and he's going to exile with the Relic of Progenitus, but think about what if he didn't draw the Relic of Progenitus, then he killed a Mind Stone. Does Matt Nass care? Not really.
That's a good point.
Drawing sideboard cards is important. I think I see the Gear per Aether Grid.
Would not be shocked to see that come in. As you said, it can ping down elves like Llanowar Elves that we see on the battlefield there. Also, the Warrior and the Reclamation Sage are susceptible to it.
Yep, there it is, and there's 2 untapped artifacts in play right now.
And Matt knows exactly what to do. He's going to start attacking the mana of Matt Grahn, taking down Llanowar Elves immediately, and threatening to untap with Gear per Ether Grid and the ability to activate it twice? Not quite. Close.
Not
though.
quite, but I'm sure Matt has plenty of more artifacts in his hand.
Wow. This is Matt Grahn playing an Elvish Visionary.
So this was really smart on Matt Nass's part for recognizing that Matt Grahn would board in Relic of Progenitus. So he's like, well, if I can't combo off because he has the Relic at the right time, I have my plan B here.
Now he just needs a second artifact. Whoa, he just drew Krark Clan Ironworks off the top. Or excuse me, a 4th artifact. If he can find that, then he can start activating Gear per Ether Grid twice in a turn, and that will decimate Matt Grahn's board.
Yeah, let's see what he decides to go with here.
I think he's going to go with the KCI here, Melissa. That still leaves him an activation of the Ether Grid, or maybe you just go off.
But there is that Relic, though.
It's true. Or maybe force him to use it?
Yeah, maybe you force him to use it.
I think he's going to cash in this Darksteel Citadel for another Ichor Wellspring, perhaps.
And now the question for Matt Grahn is, when do you use the Relic? Do you use it in response to the first Mirror Retriever?
By the way, I was wrong. It was Engineered Explosives that he's casting for 0, basically turning that into 2 mana.
Okay.
Because he has a Scrap Trawler in his hand.
Okay. So first you ping something.
Reclamation Sage down. That's the highest power creature he could kill.
How cool is this deck? You can tap your artifacts to ping something, then sack it for mana. That's just all the value.
Right, and he can recur this Engineered Explosives, too. He's going to target it with the Scrap Trawler trigger, and this is really going to force Matt Grahn into a decision on whether he wants to break this up right now or let him have it. He said, okay. Trigger, draw a card. Another KCI.
Yep. Now you have another ping out of your Gira per Ether grid.
That's right. So that can take down the Elvish Visionary, or in this case, the Warrior. And now Nass is going to once again sacrifice the Engineered Explosives. He's got 3 mana floating, and there's another artifact in Ichor Wellspring.
So many eggs.
Trigger. Draw a card. Another Engineered Explosives.
Sacrifice
Sacrifice this.
Yep.
Back up to 3. Matt Grahn is just staring at this.
Yeah.
Now he's
Matt
gonna
Grahn
use
has
it.
to do something.
Yeah.
If you do it now, you should have just done it before.
Yeah, I think that he might have recognized that and said, okay. I already let another portion of my board die. I really can't let this continue.
On the plus side, at least both Ichor Wellsprings are exiled, so now Matt has less of a card draw engine.
Yeah, non-recurable now. Mox Opal's going to get sacrificed, but the way is clear as far as Matt Nass is concerned. He's got another Ichor Wellspring. This has been an incredible turn for Nass.
Looks like his hand is another KCI and the Engineer Explosives that he returned.
Yeah, and then a pair of lands.
Yeah, he can play for 0, ping one more thing, and then draw one more card.
He's going to go ahead and play the Explosives for 0. Take down. Oh.
So ping that for 1.
Yeah. Thinking ahead is Matt Nass.
Yep. Return the Mox Opal. Very sweet.
Wow. This is getting very cool.
How cool is this deck?
Seriously. Play a Mox Opal again. Tap it for mana.
Get some mana.
Green.
Get some mana.
Pyrite Spellbomb. Clarkline Ironworks, that gives him another artifact so he can finish off the Dwynen's Elite.
Yep, there you go.
Look at this turn from Matt Nass. He is completely taken
and now
out
the
his
Pirate
board.
Spellbomb can return the Mox Opal for more mana.
Oh my goodness, and of course the Spellbomb triggers.
And he has another Ichor Wellspring in hand too. Yep. Well, he
is kind of just doing it.
He doesn't stop. Another card.
The party does not stop for Matt Nass.
Is he out of stuff? No, he can just sacrifice anything.
And there's the Spellbomb back and a card draw off of the Ichor Wellspring. Still has 5 mana floating, make it 4. Wow. Ironworks hits the bin. There's 4. Get back the Wellspring. Recast it down to 2. Draw a card. Tap both of these to kill your last creature.
Wow, goodbye everything.
Has no board outside of those lands and 2 cards in hand. Now he's going to play Ancient Stirring.
And now we found another Mirror Retriever for more recursion.
Like, are we to the point where he's just going off now?
I think
like, is this over?
That's probably game, because the Mirror Retriever can get back a 1 and a 0 now. He doesn't.
He has.
Oh, yeah, but no, actually, I'm sorry. The Mirror Retriever can get back anything, so he can get back a 0 and an anything.
Yeah, you get back the Mox Opal plus whatever else he wants. And remember, he has Scrap Trawler on the battlefield. This is over.
Oh, wow.
Matt Nass in 2 quick games. Dispatches of Matt Grahn. Fantastic run for Matt Grahn with Elves representing a lot of players' favorite deck here in the top 8. But it does come to an end at the hands of the Combo King, Matt Nass.
Well,
that turn was fantastic. Woo! That was insane. Welcome back to the booth.
Not
Can
only
you believe
did Matt
he
Nass
actually won that?
Not only did he win, he also killed all of his opponent's creatures.
First.
Yeah, he had to make sure that he killed everything before actually winning.
My goodness, that was a fine draw for Matt Grahn as well. It wasn't.
Yeah, he couldn't ask for a better draw that game.
Right.
He had one artifact kill spell and a relic and mana elves and whatnot. He had everything he could ask for.
Yeah. Yeah, he had 2, 3, 4. He had 5 or 6 power with 2 disruptive elements.
Yeah.
And lost that turn.
Yep.
He's like, all right, we're all set. I'm going to pass it back to Matt Nass. And speaking of passing it back to Matt Nass, we've got him down in the feature match area. Matt, Marshall Sutcliffe with Melissa DeTore in the booth. Whoa, buddy, putting on a show for us down there.
Yeah, why not?
So that turn started off innocently enough, that last game where we're like, oh, he might be able to take out a couple of creatures on the other side, and it gradually built into this monster of a turn that led to you actually just winning the game.
Yeah, I actually felt like I had a pretty good chance to combo and was mostly killing his things in case I got unlucky and drew a bunch of lands.
And style points, of course.
Yeah, of course, style points.
But, honestly, like, his draw looked pretty fine. He had the relic. He even killed one of your artifacts with the reclamation stage, and he had, 6 power on the battlefield. You didn't care about any of it. You just calmly worked your way right on through.
Yeah, I think he needs like a really fast like Azuri combo kill to have a chance, and I have so much removal and explosives. I think the matchup is really heavily in my favor.
Yeah, now you've played elves quite a bit yourself, right? So did that give you an advantage when navigating through the turns, especially in game one?
Yeah, I definitely felt like I knew what was going on in his deck more than he knew what was going on in my deck.
Yeah, you're playing the rogue combo deck, if you will, where his is a little bit more known. Now, this top 8 for you, back-to-back?
Not quite. I played in the Legacy GP in Seattle, but it is back-to-back with KCI. And back-to-back in Modern.
So is this deck the real deal? Are we?
Yeah, I think so.
You put it on the map, my friend. It is looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's definitely a real deck. Humans is like a little bit awkward, but I think the new list with extra explosives and Galvanic Blast has a lot more game against humans. So I don't know that there's really anything I'm too scared to play against.
Fearless Matt Nass down in the feature match area, headed to the semifinals. Nice work, Matt. Good luck in the next round.
Thank you.
All right, so it looks like we've got Frank Skarren and Gene Friedman queued up here, Melissa, with Burn versus Affinity. Somehow they're still in game number 2, even though we've already finished our other match. And what do we have here? Goblin Guide for Gene Friedman and a much bigger board here for Skarren with a pair of Ravagers and also an Inkmoth Nexus getting in the red zone.
Right, so this matchup I would expect it would favor Affinity because they have lifelink in the form of Vault Scourge, and that's usually you only need to gain 5 to 6 life against burn to be able to just make them not have enough burn to kill you. You're usually racing at a decent pace, but the lifelink helps out so much here.
Mm-hmm. Skarren at 11, but he is still facing down Gene with cards in hand. And I think we're seeing Gene say, okay, no blocks.
Oh, he had an attack with an Inkmoth here, right?
Uh-huh. So he's going to activate his other Inkmoth, and we might be seeing some Arcbound Ravager shenanigans afoot.
Yeah, it looks like it. It's a little risky to do that with the opponent's 2 untapped mana. He could just have 2 removal spells in response to moving the modular counters over.
Mm-hmm. And it's a pretty all-in play from Frank's perspective, right? I mean,
it really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he must have the read in some way. Yeah, he is going all in here.
He really is, sacrificing the Springleaf Drum and the other Nexus, sacrificing the Ravager to itself, puts the counters on. But that happens.
That happened. Like, the opponent did not bolt the creature in response.
No. Helix your face is what I'm assuming is happening here.
Interesting.
Gene must have a lot of burn spells in hand. Uh-oh. Does Frank actually have a way to interact here?
Is it Dispel Pierce
or something? Oh, it is.
Okay, this makes a lot more sense of why he would go for it this turn because of the Spell Pierce. He knew he was
he could
was
protect
safe.
that.
Okay, Spell Pierce the Helix.
Well, that happens.
Now what's going
Gene
on?
Doesn't have any mana. So
maybe there's a life total discrepancy?
oh, I see. You're right. Because I was wondering why you picked up the Lightning Bolt, but I think you're right, Melissa. By the way, Gene has 6 Infect right now as well.
Okay, so all right, now I understand. Now that we know that Gene already has Infect, this is actually Frank going for the kill here. And maybe Gene is making sure that the life totals are
Well,
correct.
I think he might have 6 now.
Oh, after taking the 4.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I believe we're on end step, and he said, okay, I'm going to helix you.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
I think that's where we're at. So this was Frank setting up a 2-turn kill, right?
Right.
You had 2, probably incidental from, getting hit a couple of times with Inkmoth Nexus. And then now he's like, put you to 6, next turn, activate this thing, kill you.
Yep, that's what it looks like, but there is some kind of discrepancy here
You're right.
in the life totals.
Yeah, I think that they're making sure that the life totals are correct. Specifically, Frank Skarren's life total is the one that they would be talking about at this point.
Yeah, absolutely.
As Gene Friedman's actual life total has become a lot less relevant with this move from Skarren.
So there's a Vault Scourge that gains some amount of life. And this is why we keep track of life on paper and not dice.
Correct. Both players holding their pens, trying to figure out what the life totals are.
Should be pretty easy to figure out what happened this game. Like, one of the players is probably correct in the life totals, and they both have a record of what happened.
One of the interesting things that I'm pretty sure I saw in Gene Friedman's hand here, Melissa, is another copy of Destructive Revelry. And the interesting part about that is, if that's the case, he was actually trying to get Frank to use Lightning Helix. To use Spell Pierce by casting that Lightning Helix.
Okay.
Because Destructive Revelry, now that Frank Skarren has no cards in hand, will kill Inkmoth Nexus and cut off Frank Skarren's, really his only route to victory in any realistic scenario.
Yeah, absolutely. Frank went all in here.
Yeah. And Gene knew, okay, I can take the hit, go to 6 poison, that's fine, I'm not dead. And now Frank has 1 draw step, and he's going to fire up the Inkmoth Nexus, and he just can't have Spell Pierce and anything reactive. He needs to use his mana to do the Nexus. If he draws a land, well, then he didn't draw a reactive spell. If he draws a reactive spell, he won't have the mana to cast it. And Gene Friedman gets to say, kill your Inkmoth Nexus and probably kill your hopes of winning this GP, Frank Skarren. So this looks like a pretty good play if I saw that correctly from Friedman. Finds a mountain. See if we can't get a look at his hand. Goblin Guide.
I see a Lava Spike.
Definitely see a Lava Spike.
So the top card of the deck is a Spell Pierce.
It's an Ornithopter.
Wait, oh, okay. I was looking at the graveyard then.
Yeah, he has it kind of up above. Normally people have it reversed.
Oh, got it. Yep.
Yeah, or at least I do it the way that you see it too. And Skarren says, well, I'm all in. I'm just going to block.
All right. Lava Spike down to 5.
And this is a moment of truth. He says go, and Frank has no other option here other than to fire that thing up and see if he wins. It's not getting any better than this. And this is it. Does he have the Destructive Revelry?
Yep.
He does. A great play for Gene Friedman. Got him. Gene Friedman's buddies are by us in the booth, and they are excited because that's game. I mean, there's no way Frank comes back from that.
Right.
And there it is, Lava Spike. And that's the match going to Gene Friedman. He is going to advance to the semifinals, 2-0 over Frank Skarren. Very well played by him to draw out the Spell Pierce. You know, Spell Pierce isn't necessarily the type of card you think about first when you think about Affinity, but Gene knew it was up. Got him to play it.
Yeah, that was a
and it won him the game.
Very sweet play there.
So that winner, by the way, Gene, he is going to be playing against Matt Nass.
Okay.
So we're going to have a race. It's going to be Burn versus Krark Clan Ironworks combo, and one of them's going to be faster. We'll find out that when we get there. In the meantime, just in time.
Oh, perfect. Game 3 of this matchup. Oh, sweet.
Can't
exactly
wait.
what I came here for.
Michael Mapson on Amulet Titan. They tried to ban it. Good friendly handshake to kick things off. John Sharp on Boggles. And we are going to be underway in Game 3. The winner of this game advances to the semifinals.
Ooh, I see a plains and no other land. Ugh.
No other land. John
throw
Sharp
this one
says,
back.
I've had enough. I'm going to send this one back. Let's see if Michael has a keeper
Ooh.
here.
The hand was looking not so good because all I saw were a bunch of Karoo lands, and then his final card was Gemstone Mine, which means this is a keeper. Karoo lands and no other lands is a little awkward.
By the way, you can tell how old school somebody is
Mm-hmm.
if it's Karoo lands or bounce lands.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
What have I done?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I gave everything away.
Oh, yeah, you did it.
No.
Yeah.
See,
I mean,
like,
the
I called
the really new players don't even know what either of them are. So
Yeah, maybe you're right. Oh, wow, you're right. I didn't even think of it because when these lands came out in Ravnica, they were Karoo lands because the card Karoo was a Visions card, and it was also a double land, and you had to return a Plains to your hand, and there was a cycle of those in Visions. So just like, oh, these are just this is like Karoo. Let's call them Karoo lands. You know?
Yeah.
What have I done?
All right, let's see if we can get a 6-card keep here for John Sharp. Mapson has kept.
What's funny is I didn't even think to call them bounce lands.
Your event is ready for you. Please return to your playing area.
You can call them what you want.
Well, what is the proper name?
I don't know.
Are
that
they
have one. I actually don't know that they have
Ravnica
one.
common lands? That's too long to say.
Yeah, I mean, I call them bounce lands, but that's just what they were called when I first saw them, which was like in a cube or in
Wait, how long have you been playing Magic?
like 9 or 10 years or so.
Oh, wow. I've been playing Magic
Yeah, I'm a
for
baby.
more than twice the amount of time you've been playing Magic.
You're also twice as good at me at Magic, interestingly.
Oh, who knew?
Yeah. All right, now what is that for Mapson over there?
Oh, this is a sweet card. Sakura Tribe Scout. Tap it to put a land from your hand into play. So you can tap it to put into play the bounce land, and then you can bounce the Gemstone Mine back to hand, and then you can play an additional land. But we're not going to see that in action.
Nope. John Sharp's going to use Path to Exile on the 1-mana 1/1. But Mapson's not going to be super bummed. I mean, his deck is definitely about getting lands down, and this will give him an extra one. Sharp has a pair of Razor Verge Thicket and something for 2 mana. Oh, I see what it is.
I see a Gaddock Teague.
Oh, yeah. Old G Teague.
G Teague. Mr. Teague.
That's Captain Teague to you.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
Didn't know. What does Gaddock Teague stop here out of
Yeah, I was
out of
gonna
the
ask.
Michael Mapson deck? Let's take a look at the deck list because
I think I
we
have
looked
it
at the
here.
list
Here you
earlier
go.
and I don't remember really seeing too much that it stops.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing too much of the stops either.
Did he just want another threat?
Is it
Maybe
a-
it's a sideboard card. Engineer Explosives, I guess.
There's one.
Yeah, there's one in the main, one in the board. So it must be to stop explosives.
Wow, that's not a lot.
I guess another consideration is that John Sharp does play 4 main deck ley lines, which are completely blank cards against the Michael Mapson deck. So he wants to side out all of them, and maybe he didn't have enough to side in. So he's like, well, I don't have enough to side in, so I've decided more just like a card that can be useful sometimes. I'd rather have a grizzly bear than a complete blank.
Right. Yeah, it's only 1 engineered explosives in the board, but I think they can actually go. Oh, and there's also one in the main I should mention as well. But I think they can go search it up.
Yep, you can search it up with Teleria West.
Right, that's what I was thinking of. So it does make sense then. Gaddock Teague preventing that interaction, as it is devastating. I mean, it can really ruin a Boggles player's day to have an engineered explosive. It's one of the few cards they don't want to see. Doesn't always win it for you, but it's a good one. And here's a Glade Cover Scout. Uh-oh. John really does need to get things rolling here, though.
Yeah, looks like he has a Spirit Mantle and a Spider Umbra in hand,
yeah.
which isn't really a fast clock. You can only play one of them.
Players in the 6 p.m. standard event, your pairings are being posted next to the blue
Spider
gathering
Sure.
Umbra
on
on
yellow
Gaddock Teague.
paper for the 6 p.m. standard.
And Michael actually does have a Spell Pierce, I believe. Did I see that correctly? Yeah, I think I did. Yeah, right on top of his hand there. He's got a Spell Pierce, but he decides not to use it here.
It does make sense that because John Sharp is obviously playing around something, given that he played it post-combat.
Mm-hmm.
There's also Dismember in Mapson's deck, which doesn't care about Totem Umbras.
Yeah, Totem Armors don't do
Totem
anything.
Armors, Spider Umbras.
Here's a Zuzalospet Seeking. This is one of the key cards now. You mentioned Summer Bloom being banned, and this kind of replaced it.
Right. He doesn't have an Amulet of Vigor, so he can't have that explosive turn, but he can get a lot of lands into play, which can allow him to cast a Primeval Titan soon, maybe next turn if he has it. Ancient Stirrings. Looking for a Summoner's Pact here. But instead he found Titan, Titan. Oh wait, hold on, sorry, not Summoner's Pact. I misspoke. He found an Amulet of Vigor. He's looking for a Teleria West, which can then find the Summoner's Pact.
Chain that thing into a Primeval Titan and get this match done is what Michael's looking to do.
Found a Radiant Fountain, a colorless land that gains its controller 2 life.
John's going to crack his Wooded Foothills on end step. He's going to need some action here, though.
Yeah, actually, both players need action here.
Right.
Like neither of these players are executing their game plan very well. Michael Mapson looking for a way to find a prime time. And John Sharp needs either Ethereal Armor or Daybreak Coronet. One card John Sharp has to play around is Dismember. It would be a complete blowout if he drew the Daybreak Coronet.
That would be ugly.
What did he draw? It was a white card.
Yeah, there's a Spirit Mantle, and what's the other one? Actually, can't quite see it.
Oh, it was a Griff Spoon. Yep. Okay, there it is.
We're on the same page, Melissa.
Yeah. What is that card? Oh, now I know.
And Spell Pierce is actually going to hit the Spirit Mantle, but that means that the Griff Spoon is going to stick. And we're kind of all in on Gaddock Teague here.
Definitely an interesting choice to suit up the Gaddock Teague and not the hexproof creature.
Right. Ooh, is that Primeval Titan off the top of the
Was
library?
it? Wow, that would be great. That would be like exactly what needed.
We'll take a look. It might have
I do
been.
see a Reclamation Sage.
Okay. There's the Sage.
No, I think it's just a Reclamation Sage. I
Sage?
don't think I see Primeval Titan.
I see one.
Oh, it was actually just Primeval Titan the whole time.
Boom! Prime time for Michael Mapson. And I have to say, he's the one that has his game plan rolling now, although you mentioned it last turn. No Amulet means he doesn't get those truly explosive actions happening. So he brought both lands in, returned one to his hand, and then just played it.
Right.
That's a Slayer's Stronghold.
Yeah, and Slayer's Stronghold gives haste, and the attack with Primeval Titan allows him to search up 2 more lands.
That's right.
If you're interested in an XLM draft,
I saw him pull Teleria West to the top.
Yeah, that's a card you said he was looking for before.
Yeah, Teleria West allows you to search up things like Summoner's Pact, which gives you more Titans. Search up Engineered Explosives, which doesn't do a whole lot here, but it's just a great utility land to search up. Oh, what did Vesuva copy?
So once again, we're missing 5 players for Masters 25 draft.
Vesuva probably copied one of the bounce lands.
It looks like it gain him a couple more life there with the
Oh,
fountain.
it copied the Radiant Fountain. Okay, cool. One option that he could have taken was to copy a bounce land and then return the Teleri West to hand, so next turn he can transmute it. But having extra life is always good against a deck that is trying to win with damage.
I think we're on the verge of seeing Michael Mapson win this. By the way, he had an extra
He had another
bounce land.
bounce land, yep.
So Carews that one right back. Ethereal Armor.
Ooh, that's what he
That's a
needed.
big one.
That is definitely a
Like,
card he needed.
Kind of needs to go Ethereal Armor into Coronet here, does he not? Is this thing big
yes,
enough now?
because the Teleria West can search up a Summoner's Pack, which can search up a Primeval Titan, and then the Slayer Stronghold and the Boros Garrison can give haste, and that would just actually be game.
So right now,
But it's just blocking. It's on blocking
it's
duty
on
now.
blocking duty because it is big enough, right? 2,
Ooh,
3,
you drew a Pact
4,
of
5,
Negation.
6, 7. So he's got a 7-powered first striker, so he can hold back that Titan.
Yeah. Another option that he now has, now that there's a giant first striking blocker, is the Sunhome thing.
Yeah.
That grants double strike, so whatever he blocks, he can just give the other one double strike and just win that way.
Yeah, Sunhome Fortress of the Legion could get the job
Oh,
done. Oh, boy.
that's quite the card. That's a really
Reclamation
important
Sage
card
for your
here that
ethereal armor.
we did see him draw last turn.
That's right. It does not feel like there's a great way for Sharp to get out of this at this point, especially given that Pact of Negation that you mentioned a minute ago, Melissa. That's just an insurance policy as well for somebody who's already ahead on board. He can cast it, right?
The prime time?
No, the Pact. It's 0, right? Like,
oh yeah, for sure. It is
Yeah.
definitely 0, and he can very easily pay the upkeep trigger.
yeah, I'm feeling like this is going to be very, very difficult for John Sharp to get out of.
Yeah, I don't think John Sharp has anything in hand, right?
He's on empty.
Yeah, so
GG.
I don't think he can come back from this.
I don't think so either. I think we're going to see Michael Mapson find himself into the semifinals. Wow, Amulet.
Get a Colony Garden, make a token.
So now it's 6 p.m. and it's time to start with our turbo routes.
Right now our semifinals has Matt Nass and Gene Friedman. They're going to be facing off Burn versus Crocline Ironworks combo. And on the other side, it looks like it's going to be Mapson with Amulet. And then the winner of Kellen Pastore versus Max Mcvetyt. That's Hollow One versus Boggles.
I did pick Hollow One to win it all, so.
Well, I got bad news for you.
No! Max Mcvetyt, no!
Yeah, he's done. It is Boggles in the hands of Kellen Pastore, who awaits the winner of this game.
While this is all happening, Michael Mapson is just putting a lot of lands into play and then winning.
And then
casually.
the big handshake from John Sharp. So that's Michael Mapson advancing to the semifinals. Once again, great run for both of them. But Michael Mapson's the one who is ahead. Now, I'm going to rewind you a little bit here, Melissa. Welcome back to the booth, by the way. Card of the match.
Okay.
Now, the match being the one we watched originally.
Right, the KCI match.
Yeah,
where the card I'm picking is KCI.
Oh.
Parkland Ironworks.
Strong choice.
I will give an honorable mention to Garriper Ether Grid.
Okay.
Because it was like just really smart for Matt to bring that card in, knowing all the hate that the Elves player would bring in. So just like having a plan B is really good. But Parkland Ironworks very handily was the card that won the game. Very powerful card. Makes 1 million mana, and you can do anything with 1 million mana.
Yeah, and in this case,
including
it's
win the game.
chip away at your opponent for 2 damage a turn, which is what Matt Nass ultimately does to win the game. Though usually what happens with a combo deck like that is that his opponent will say, tell me what you're going to do, demonstrate it for me. I'll look at my hand and see if there's anything I can do, and if I can't, I'll go ahead and concede to you. And that's what happened there. So we've got our top 4 here in Hartford. We have Kellen Pastore on the top half of the bracket with Boggles. He's going to be facing down Michael Mapson, who we just saw win with Amulet. On the bottom half of the bracket, it is Burn in the hands of Gene Friedman, and he is facing down Matt Nass with Clark Clan Ironworks combo. And that is what we're looking at here for the semis. This has been a fun top 8 already, and we've got still more to bring you. But first, these messages we'll see in just a bit.